Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are living in whichever part of the world. Today we are going to discuss about various topics from the sales background with Vijith, and Nancy will be the host. But just before moving to that, I would like to give a brief background about a platform that is for students, professionals, and parents called Circle of Legends. And this month we are celebrating, or we have dedicated as a suicide prevention month, wherein we definitely are not expert in the subject, but we are the supporters of those subject matter experts. We are providing our full-hearted support to those who have faced these difficulties. We are with them, and those students, those who are facing void because of many avenues, just like overuse of technology or social media, peer pressure, and everything. We are trying to provide them guidance of social media de-addiction and all that. And on that note, today I am recommending one small documentary or a movie on Netflix that is called The Social Dilemma. I recommend it to all parents and students to watch it and to understand how we are becoming victim of the social media. So with this brief note, I am handing it over to Nancy and Vijit. And
So I think we should start, sir. I think we should start, sir. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our another episode of the collaborative show by the Circle of Legend. So before we begin, I would like to ask, please let us know from where you are and what do you do. So today we have a Vijith Kumar Nandanam. He is a business strategist and a startup enthusiast and a consulting selling professional, which seem too inquisitive. Today he will tell us about the transitioning from engineering to sales domain. He will also tell us about the great success story with us. He sir has a more than 9 year experience across the sales, manufacturing, and the performance management. So, sir, hello, welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, Nancy. Hope everything is fine at your end and you are safe. Thank you so much for having me as a part of your session where the most important stuff is collaborative learning by sharing. I'd love to recommend folks to be a part of Circle of Legends. This is not legends, but this is the legends of the legends for the legends and by the legends. It's been completely made by student fraternity. A big congratulations to Mr. Darshan and team for having such a collaborative platform in LinkedIn from India. So a big kudos and congratulations for that, Nancy. With that, yeah, thank you so much once more. This I hope with this 15-minute wisdom with
Yes, sir.
knowledge sharing here, many of the folks who are listening to our show live get benefited, and for the ones who were not live still get benefited through the YouTube upload which we have. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yes, sir. So I'm so glad that you are here with us. So today, I just want to put it out there that the comment section will be open for the questions. So go through this interview. So yeah. So the first question I want to ask is, what about your journey? Because yesterday when I saw your profile, it was like there was a great such experience of in the field of sales and in the corporate world. So could you please elaborate your journey with us?
Well, every journey is a success in itself. It's basically the way in which one perceives, he or she perceives his or her journey. Now, when it comes to my personal journey, it definitely was not a roller coaster ride when I had to switch over from an engineering background, especially working 5 years in the manufacturing unit in a core job. I graduated in the year 2011 as an electrical engineer, and I basically went on to work across a manufacturing unit for 5 years, where I was promoted from a technician. I had some close to four promotions in a span of 5 years, and I was doing good as a senior engineer. But then the best part was the journey started into sales with a mindset. So I wanted to move into sales not just of the passion for sales, but I wanted to come out of the birdcage life structure, especially around the professional arena. So in a manufacturing role, whoever would be live listening and who would be into the manufacturing domain in particular, life happens to be very much birdcage. When I say birdcage, you have a fixed set of things to be done day to day life. So I thought, why not let's explore something very chaotic. You get to be very dynamic. You get bombarded with tons of challenges, workload, pressure. And what if you solve all that together with a collaborative team or all alone when you talk to a consumer? That's when I took that, the giant risk, I term it as the giant risk. And that was close to 5 years after becoming a professional core engineer. And yes, then on, what I understood was I had one mindset that I chose a path, I got to live it up. Nobody's going to come with me to make me live the path which I chose, right? So I definitely still remember getting back to my home and then having that sad feelings. Oh my God, why did I move in? Why did I move in? But then it took me 4 to 6 months. It definitely was not a very roller coaster journey, like I said in the start. But then my mindset was very clear. I chose my path. I own it. I be responsible for my choice, and I have to live it up. And that's when I started strategizing. I started doing left, right, center, 360-degree in terms of sales strategies when I took over a very rotten ground. I'd say when I say ground, it's a rotten territory where business development was not even there for approximately 2 to 3 years. And then I took it up, put my complete out and out efforts with strategization, with tons of new ways of carving out business. And apparently, close to 5.5 months, then comes a day where I get my first sale from a new dealer, and that's when I started, understanding the cycle, and I moved up. I presently lead head West India for a company called Rootmatic, and I'm so privileged that I was able to scale up in the last 4 years after I switched over my domain. But I'd say every journey has a success story in itself. It's up to how you perceive first, and second,
Yes, sir.
if you choose a path, own it, be responsible, live for it. Nobody's going to guide you all the way. You have to be your major guide. You have to be your major driver. You have to be your main motivator.
So you have such a great success story or such an inspiration story. So, sir, I would like to ask that your journey, like how did you find your interest like in the sales domain, making from the engineering background?
So sales itself is completely dynamic. So it's basically my mantra. Once I moved into sales, and after I found it difficult to manage my career after the transition, was attitude. The you and I in attitude matters the most compared to anything else. So attitude itself has a you and I, right? When you spell out the word, many people just take the E. That's the ego. People do
Yes, sir.
not take you and I. They try to take E and they try to compare, and ego develops, and that's when they, don't come out with flying colors. So I understood it's basically you and I. When you see in the mirror, it should be you, and when there is no mirror, it should be I.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's you and I in the attitude that matters the most. And when it comes to sales, right, attitude is very key. Customers are going to bombard you, and
Yes,
then
sir.
the
Absolutely.
switch the switch from engineering, where you have a clear cut step by step process oriented job, when it comes to core engineering or IT engineering or whatever, and sales, where there is no defined steps. All you have is a product, and it's up to you as an individual how you put it up across. So I understood when I was in my manufacturing job, I was very good at two things. Number one, adapting to a situation. So I used to adapt really, really well. I had some
Versatile.
26, 24 hours. Yeah, I used to work for 20, 26 hours continuously, because a machine breaks down. I have to stay back. I have to support my team. I have to ensure that the machine comes up and the productions don't get halted. But I was very good at adapting. Next day, I could still work for 2 hours or 3 hours. But then adapting is a skill which I understood I'm very good at. The second was I was very good at putting things on the table in front of my customer. So I was into machine maintenance. So my customer used to be production. So if the machine goes under repair, I should ensure my customer don't get affected. I was very good at putting the problem and the solution statement very well. So these two things I was able to do really well. I thought, why not take a jump? These two are going to let me only into a technical domain. But if I'm able to put from a different perspective, that gives me a bigger jump. So I want to understand the product, right? And I could just correlate my engineering interview even now. My first, this was not my first. This was my fourth interview which I cleared, and that's when I went into a manufacturing job. The managing director of back then, Michelin, asked me, Vijith, what do you want to become in 3 years or 4 years from now? I said, I want to be a techno commercial manager. He was confused. How come a college guy, final year, back then in 2011, could say, what is techno commercial? So I explained I would understand the product for first 3 to 4 years. I would be able to understand the bits and pieces of it. I would be a part of making the product, and then I would like to see how the product behaves in the market. That's basically sales, and I would like to ensure my product's footprint increases, and that's exactly what I did. I waited for 5 years, understood 360-degree how a product is being made as a tire, and then I wanted to be a part of how the product behaves in front of the customer. That's when I jumped into sales. So this transition I had in my mind when I joined the company. The best for anybody out there who is working across as a manufacturing or as a core engineer or as an IT engineer to jump into sales is, guys, you need to understand, explore that hidden passion. Every one of us is a sales guy or a sales girl in our own life. I'm sure, Nancy, you would have convinced so many people to go for a movie. You would have
Yes.
convinced your mom to make a good pizza or a good khichdi or whatsoever for you, right? I'm sure your friends would have convinced you to bunk a couple of classes. See, everyone has that convincing capability. Everyone is a salesman or a saleswoman in his or own life. Now, how you take that up, put it as a career, envision yourself is basically the company you're working for. Try to apply and try to switch over. Do not look out for another company. When you are a manufacturing engineer here, nobody's going to hire you for sales, but you can
Yes.
transition yourself, and that's when you have to understand your hidden potential, put it across well, and of course the company culture and structure is something very different. If your luck persists, you will definitely go through like what I went through. But my stand was very clear.
Yeah, yeah, you're such a beautiful journey, and you can articulate your journey very beautiful way. So moving out, the another question. So you have a powerful engagement in the link on the LinkedIn. So how LinkedIn your professional and personal goals hand in hand? So what benefit does one get out of it?
Well, LinkedIn as a platform today is an unexplored, underrated gold mine. I would not term it as a gold mine, what many influencers do. I would say it's unexplored, underrated gold mine. So I was a Facebook freak for until 2000, I would say until 2017 or 2018. I used to upload, I still have maybe close to 10,000 pics or 8,000 pics on Facebook. I slowly moved out of Facebook. I understood that there are many other potential up there like LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm still not yet active in Instagram. LinkedIn, the best part are two things. Number one, you got to show up very frequently. Now, if you are a salesperson, if you are a marketing person, if you are an IT professional, if you're anybody for that matter, you got to show up. And second, you got to be consistent. These two, if you can do, right, your leads could get leveraged very well. You got to write,
Yeah.
take videos. Do not upload images alone about sales, because that's very common thing. Anybody could do that. Anybody could go download an image from Google and put that as a status in LinkedIn, and you could garner
Yes.
some 50 likes, 40 comments. That doesn't work. Outline yourself. Tell your failure journeys more. Tell your product's failure journey, and how your product's failure and how you evolved out of it, and how your
Yes.
clients benefited out of your evolution of the product. That is what a sales guy should write, or a sales girl should write for that matter. That's when the clients get attracted rather than writing about the product. I have a product, my review is good, it's a 5-star rated product, we have 5,000 customers. Of course, you have so many things, but what if,
Yes.
imagine this small thing, Nancy, you have a product, it failed miserably, and the customer gave you a feedback, you evolved, you worked on it, the evolution came up. That's when the product went bang on, and many got benefited. Now, this story garners a much more traction than just a story about a product alone. So, write up, be frequent, stay completely consistent. These three things will be a key mantra for anybody trying to leverage LinkedIn. Now, the more better you showcase yourself, it's also given you a journey. where most of the people deny putting a video out there. I'd suggest try going ahead, show yourself very well, be honest, be transparent, and be completely clear. That definitely works the best. So show up, be consistent. These two are the key assets for anybody in LinkedIn who's basically trying to build something for his or her. That works the best.
Yeah. So even if I talking about, like, I started LinkedIn like since 2 to 3 months, and I was like it was a great inspiration when your stories and when your views will come, and how the like peoples are viewing you, and they're getting the like they're the posting, they're the good initiative that taken by the rather than the another social media. So yeah, so what are the, sir, what are the top three things you would like to share with the students or upcoming students who inclined in the sales background?
Okay, so if you want to come into sales, as I told in the start, you got to have that attitude. If you don't have that attitude, if you're looking to chill that out, well, sales gives you a lot of benefits. Let me tell you this to all gentlemen and gentlewomen. You get to have travel to tons of awesome places. You get to move around in complete flights, cars, foods, etc. But then if you don't have that attitude to close those awesome deals, if you don't have that attitude to work nights, if you don't have that attitude to listen more to your customer than just blabber about your product, you're going to be an epic failure. And please don't blame me back saying I got a session with Vijith. He transitioned from engineering to sales. Bang on. I tried to transition and I was a big failure. Of course, if you don't have that attitude, it's going to be a big, miserable, epic failure. Second, in sales and in life, it's not just never give up, it is never ever give up. You
Yes,
should
sir.
never ever give up in your life and in sales, because the moment you feel, oh, I'm done with this customer, oh, I'm done with this deal, oh, this area is completely rotten, I have put my effort for 3 months, nothing worked. Oh, sorry boss, your efforts could be in the wrong direction. There's a possibility you didn't follow the protocols. There's a possibility your product didn't work well. It's not just you. So never ever give up and have questions about your own skill set. There is a huge possibility that something else would have been wrong. Third,
Yes, sir.
impossible itself says I am possible. Nothing is impossible. There is
Yes, sir.
no deal so far for anybody which has had a cakewalk. If a sales deal was a cakewalk, I'm sure that he or she who did that deal would have been an epic expert, or he or she would have already had a great interaction with the consumer or the client. So there is nothing which is called impossible, because impossible itself says I am possible. Go ahead, be very clear with your three things. Have an energetic attitude where you and I matter the most for you. Never ever give up in your life and in sales, because life and sales have some great correlation. Lastly, impossible says I am possible, so do not give up at all. Everything is possible, guys.
Yes, sir. So, sir, we have a questions from Nikita.
Sure.
Like, so, what is the biggest challenge that you feel that you have faced?
The biggest challenge I faced was failing badly and not able to control my anger when I failed. It took me, as I told you, 5.5 months to get my first new client on board after I moved into sales, especially I transitioned my career. So that was my biggest challenge, and how I overcame it was through consistent, perseverant efforts. Now, when I say consistent, perseverant effort, you got to go and meet the same guy again and again. You got to understand every time I met, he had something new to say. And that would trigger my anger quotient even more. Then, when it reaches, it's like an elastic rubber band. When the elasticity goes completely, it becomes so loose that it transforms its shape. So I had this problem. I controlled it because the same guy I used to meet, and one particular day he said, "Vijit ji, आप रोज आ रहे हो, तो आपको ये नहीं लगता कि मेरे से आपको कोई डील नहीं आने वाला, मैं कुछ ऑर्डर आपको देने वाला नहीं." तो आई सेड, "Sir, I have that belief in me. Someday I would be your only problem solver when your competitor can't."
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I believed. And the first order which I got was approximately close to 40 to 50 tires. That's like a brilliant deal for me, especially from a truck segment. The per tire cost happens to be approximately 25K. Multiplied by 40, that's like bang on. That's like a big epic sale for me, and that at that particular point of time. So yes, Anger management was a big challenge. How I overcame it was meet the same guy, let him make you even more angry. It's just like a rubber band. The elasticity
Yes,
becomes
sir.
full. You don't break out,
Yes, sir.
but rather be what it is.
Yeah. So, sir, we have another question from Rama Shikant. So, what are the books recommended for the aspiring salespeople?
Uh, I'm not a book reader. Sorry about that, Rama Srikanth. I'd say if you want to look out for book recommendation, rather go ahead and look out for sales pitch videos across on YouTube. There's some tons of awesome content there. There's a person called Matt Wolash in LinkedIn whom you could connect with. He has carved out a perfect deal process, which means he trains sales gurus to ensure that they don't lose their deals. So you should connect with Matt Wolash. If you're looking for an Indian, you should connect with Amit Sharma. He basically converts 70% of deals from no to yes. So
Okay.
I'm not a book reader at all. So I'm sorry about it. So I can't recommend. I'm not the right guy to recommend books for youngsters. I rather say connect with people, use the network, and make it your net worth.
Yeah. So, we have a last question from Nikita. What is your motivational mantra?
Motivational mantra is if you could go ahead and check out my profile, I've written impossible itself says I am possible, right? Many
Yes,
things in
sir.
this universe are impossible in front of us for the first time. Second time you see, oh, okay, kind of impossible. Third time you understand something if you do, it is possible. Four, five times you look at the same problem from three different angles, or five different angles, or 10 different angles. They become easily possible. And a mantra which I myself say to all the youngsters is being accountable and being responsible. These both are choices. And if you
Yes,
guys
sir.
miss these out, you're gonna definitely badly miss this out. The reason being, if you're not accountable of what you are doing, if you're not responsible for what you've chosen, you're going to be completely out of places.
Yeah.
It took me 5.5 months when I said to myself, I chose the path of moving from a regular manufacturing role to sales. 5 months was a big toil. It was like pathetic, but I had to own, I had to be responsible for my choice, and I didn't miss the out. Here I am
Yeah.
after 4 years into sales. I'm able to lead a zone of a country.
Yeah. Such a great journey, sir. Such a great journey. So, well, that's it. Thank you so much, sir, for all the information that you provided with us. I would like to
Definitely,
ask you that is there anything finally you want to add before we leave?
I think the circle of legends is not just a term or a company name. I'd say it's an emotion being built around in LinkedIn. It's more than the words, it's an
Yes,
emotion which
sir.
is being built. Everybody across LinkedIn who are student fraternities in particular, I'd strongly suggest engage, utilize this platform to the fullest. When I was a student, rewinding 10, 11 years of my life, I never had something like this. I never even had LinkedIn. But here you have LinkedIn, and here you have the circle of legends where
Absolutely.
some true legends are a part of this community. And
Yes, sir.
uh, many people have basically got some really great tons of value adds from this community. And I have been engaged with this community since the last 2 months. It's with immense pleasure I could say that Mr. Darshan Patel and team has done an amazing job. So, Student Achiever platform motivating students, collaborative learning by sharing. Some great, nice, actual life level value add is being put up from this group. I strongly suggest and recommend everyone wholeheartedly to join for this venture. This is absolutely free of cost. Your group
Yes, sir.
formed by you, of you, and for you. Go ahead, just grab it, guys. That's what I'd have
Thank
to
you
say.
so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful experience with us or collaborating with us. I'm sure that everybody had learned a lot. I personally believe I understood everything that you said, and these big words gives a strength or a heavy word that yeah. After all, thank you so much for being with us, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Have a great day.
Yeah.